Ms. Murphy-Smith.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay.
On September 29, 2023, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a residence and made contact with the complaining witness. The complaining witness stated that the defendant and her mother took items from her vehicle and would not return them. The complaining witness stated that she had been contacted by a friend informing her of the theft and that the defendant had stated she was going to spend all of the complaining witness's money and max out her credit cards. The complaining witness inspected her vehicle and found her belongings missing. The law enforcement officer spoke with the defendant over the phone to return them when given the opportunity to do so. The approximate value of the items taken was $600.
Okay. Ms. Murphy-Smith, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness, not to go where they live, and not to go near their car.
That's the judge laying down bond conditions, basically saying, stay away or go straight to jail, in simple terms. This is the court's way of protecting the victim while keeping the defendant out but on a very tight leash. Would you risk it if you were her?
These are your bond conditions. If you violate these conditions, a warrant for your arrest will be issued. You will go into custody. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am? Yes?
Yes, sir.
You have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am.
No.
We will have you fill out an application. I'll take a look to see whether you qualify. If you do, we'll provide your lawyer today. Deputy Miranda's going to give an application. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box and then don't leave until we release you, ma'am. Okay? Please. Mr. Ramon, you are charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On April 9, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched to a theft at Target. The officer arrived and made contact with loss prevention employees who stated they observed two Hispanic females, later identified as the defendant and co-defendant. They were in the store selecting merchandise and placing items in their shopping cart, specifically concealing some of the items in a baby car seat while one was pushing the cart. While this defendant was adding merchandise to the shopping cart, she removed the price tags from selected items. Meanwhile, the co-defendant walked through the makeup department, selected 3 items, and placed them in the baby car seat, along with other items they had previously chosen. The co-defendant then proceeded to the jewelry department, where she selected a purse, and both females then moved towards the front of the store, approaching the cash registers without making any check for the items in the car seat, and exited the store without attempting to pay.
So here's the twist: a $150 theft from Target. Small in amount, but big in consequence. What's wild is how the judge treats repeat offenders. No more second chances. The law doesn't care if it's $150 or $15,000. Theft is theft.
For the merchandise in the shopping cart that the co-defendant was pushing. The defendants were positively identified from previous AFI smoke shop photos, and the total value of the items taken was $150.98.
Okay. It's Walmart?
Target, Your Honor.
Target. Mr. Ramon, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to go to any Target for any reason. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. I am also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact, hang out with, or be with Ms. Monsivais. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you're hanging out with her, likewise, you will end up in custody. If you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000 to get you out of jail, you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this.
So here's the twist: a $150 theft from Target. Small in amount, but big in consequence. What's wild is how the judge treats repeat offenders. No more second chances. The law doesn't care if it's $150 or $15,000. Theft is theft.
This case is over with, and I'm telling you, it'll take 9 months just to get, certain types of evidence. Do you understand? What do you do with yourself these days?
I stay home, taking care of my mom.
Did you graduate from high school? What are you going to do with the rest of your life, man? If you need something to do, this is not the right way. A theft conviction will kill you because people know, you know, you need something to do. When people have too much time on their hands, they become self-destructive, man. You need something to do, and now's the time for you to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. You only have so much time. Before you know it, 5 years will pass. If you've done nothing, you're either going to, hanging out with the wrong crowd, you're reliant on a man. You need to be strong as a woman. Never rely on a man. Knowledge is power. We're going to work on that. Do you mind appointing her a lawyer? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. We'll have you take your seat in the jury box. I'm going to find you a lawyer here, and then we'll figure out how we're going to go forward. Don't become a danger to our community. Don't hang around with the wrong people. They're just going to bring you down. You understand, man? Okay, come on.
This way.
Over, 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 and over. Now on our fourth. You now stand charged with prostitution.
On April 9th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer is conducting an undercover investigation and observed the defendant walking on the side of the street. The officer observed that the defendant was exposing part of her breast and made contact with the defendant. The defendant asked the officer if the officer was the police, to which the officer replied he was not, and the defendant gestured with her hands a 100, indicating values. The officer, whose training experience recognized this to be a tactic used by prostitution workers to mitigate verbal conversations because they're aware of police reporting tactics. The officer then whispered 100, 104. The officer gestured a closed fist, entering and exiting the officer with the mouth to indicate oral sex. The defendant then nodded her head up and down to indicate a yes response. The defendant then told the officer to get a room at a nearby motel. The officer stated the defendant gestured a 2 and 5 to indicate the price of the hotel. The officer left the scene and gave the predetermined bus signal, and the defendant was detained. The officer stated the defendant was positively identified using her FBI.
Okay. I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, ma'am. Here's what we're going to do. I'm putting a monitor on your ankle now, and I'm forbidding you from going to any street from these cases that you've been on. If I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail, and I'm going to make your bond high. It stops today. Do you understand? The next thing that we're going to do, I will appoint you a lawyer, but it's time for you to get a real job, a 9-to-5 job, one where you actually work, get up, go to work for 8 hours, and then go home. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks, and I want to see what you have done to fill out a gajillion applications. If nothing gets done, it's not going to go well. Do you understand? But this stops on our fourth. No more. And if I find that you're engaging in any type of way, do you understand? So I'd like to look at all the streets for every single case that we've had here, and then we're going to forbid her from going to any of these streets. I want it to ding and a GPS monitor so that we know she's not going to any of these streets. And we'll go from there. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box while we work out all the details, man. Please.
Purpose of the monitor